going on, Jerome's? So at the beginning of the season, the Flores Hellfire defense was absolutely unleashing unholy Hades on everyone. Turnovers, sacks, pressures, all over the place, and life was good. All right, but as of late, defenses hit a little bit of a rough patch, right? And now you could say that we're a little bit spoiled, right? Because it's like, oh, they're still the number one run defense in the league, and they're still number one in turnovers, and what else do you want, right? But overall, we need to say thank you. But there is a little bit of concern. So the Vikings have dipped in a lot of the defensive statistical rankings. They're now 6th in points. They're 17th in yards, allowing almost 4,400. They're still first in turnovers, which is fantastic. First and fourth down. First in blitz. 5th in pressures, although that pressure rate has dropped from about 32% down to 25.8%, and then went from 1 with a bullet down to 5. They're 2nd in pressures. They're 4th in sacks now when they used to be 1-1. Not too recently, or pretty damn recently. Also, they're now 12th in yards per attempt against the pass. They're still 4th against the run at 3.9 yards per carry. Third down, red zone, PFF grade, but whatever there. But they're still top 3 and 4 in terms of EPA and DVOA respectively, right? So a bit of a mixed bag. All right, so defense obviously is still very good, but also the last couple weeks it has not been ideal. So giving almost 400 yards of offense to the Bears. Now you could say the game went into overtime, except they didn't make any headway in overtime. All right, so that is a concern there. Also, 400 plus against the Cardinals and Kyler, 496 against Kurt. Now, take that with a grain of salt. There was a lot of garbage time there. Well, maybe not a lot, but at least a quarter of garbage time there at the end, playing up against backups as Kurt and company were trying to get a garbage time touchdown. But you look at rushing yards allowed. So $158 to the Falcons, 154 to the Cardinals. Generally, that's not a winning recipe. Right, and you look at $144 to the Lions week 7. So the Vikings do have to get their ish together, stopping the run, and I do think that they will. Now, a big part of the last 2 games why the Vikings have been porous against the run, as well as giving up a ton of yardage, both in the run and the pass, is because of pace. Ivan Pace Jr. has been out with that hamstring injury. Slated to return week 17 against the greasy grimy Green Bay Packers. Has to miss at least 2 more games because of IR. And also with Cashman. So you look at the 2 games the Vikings lost against the Lions and the Rams. And the Lions putting up 391 and 386 respectively in terms of yards. I mean, Cashman would have been a major part of that defense, and also coincidentally, those are the only 2 games that the Vikings lost this season. But also, you look at the number of pressures and sacks. So pretty damn prodigious before the bye. At least 20 plus pressures every single game, and also racking up sack numbers of 5, 6, and 4 first 3 weeks. But it has weaned off a little bit now. I think the lazy take is, well, defenses are caught up to Brian Flores' defense. I mean, part of that could be, tape getting out there, sure, but also, the enemy does get a vote, and they're professionals as well. So it's time to counter the counter with a counter, right? And pressure number. Vikings only got 9 pressures on Kirk Cousins. Now, the Falcons' offensive line is aight, but a completely stationary target. They only got 1 sack on him, and it was Jamin Davis, the new guy. So it's kind of rough. Now, you sort of understand it, with the mush rush on Kyler, even though he got 21 pressures on him, 14 pressures on Caleb Williams the week before. But I don't know. Like, the season is long, and there's ebbs and flows in anything, but it does seem like it would be great to get back to where we once belonged, where the Vikings were generating, 4, 5, 6 sacks a game pretty consistently. And down the stretch, you got Caleb again. You got Geno, who's a stud. Jordan Love, who you can get after, as also Jared Goff the last 4 weeks. It's going to be rough, as well as you look at what's in the playoff places right now. Not only do you have some pretty damn solid quarterbacks, but in terms of stopping the run, which has been the Vikings' Achilles heel the last couple weeks, I mean, Lions, Sonic and Knuckles, Eagles, Saquon in the MVP conversation, the Seahawks with Walker and Charbonnet, the Bucks with Bucky Irving if he gets healthy again, and also Rashad White, the Commies with Brian Robinson Jr., as well as the Packers with Josh Jacobs, who's looking really damn good. So overall, if the Vikings can't stop the run consistently, could be a long playoffs, but getting pace back is going to be monstrous. And overall, like Flores talked about in his press conference, it just comes down to discipline. It comes down to tackling and just really simple fundamentals like that. So hopefully the Vikings get their ish together. Also, Stephon Gilmore, hamstring. Hopefully he's going to be good to go. And then also they're likely going to get Patrick Jones second back here relatively soon as well. So has the defense struggled as of late? Sure, but have confidence that they'll right the ship right when they need to down the stretch of games as well as into the playoffs. And glorious, man. But your thoughts are thoughts. Defensive concerns as of late? Again, we are super spoiled. Like, we're concerned about a top 5 defense because they used to be one. Anyways, let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, comment section. You guys know what to do. Skull production value.